straight from the bottom of my heart to all of you watching and supporting now. Let's get into it. We're talking about Jennifer Hudson and this whole situation with David Otunga, or as reality TV folks remember him, Punk from I Love New York. Word is out that they're getting a divorce and the internet is buzzing. But here's the thing, they were never actually legally married. They've been engaged for around 10 years, so people are calling it a divorce. But technically, it's a long-term engagement, almost like a common law marriage situation. Common law husband, common law wife type of thing. They've been together so long, living like a married couple, that now there's property, finances, and a child involved. So even if there's no official marriage certificate, there's still a lot to untangle. What really has people shocked is how Jennifer came out of the gates swinging. From the very start, she's saying she felt threatened by David, unsafe around him, and she doesn't want him to have full custody of their son at all. She's painting a picture of him as angry, aggressive, and abusive. According to what she's alleged, he's been yelling at her, intimidating her, and showing a lot of visible anger. One incident she describes is him allegedly grabbing her and physically pushing her out of their master bedroom. While being aggressive and confrontational, she's saying this wasn't just a one-time thing, that he's been verbally and emotionally abusive as well. So right from the beginning, she's filing for a protective order, asking the court to keep him away and pushing for full custody of their son, not even requesting joint custody. She's going straight for everything: the house, the child, and legal protection. Now, if you look back over the years, it always seemed like Jennifer was the one delaying the wedding. In different interviews, she basically said she wasn't in a rush to get married. On talk shows, she joked that David wasn't going anywhere. He'd still be there, that she was comfortable taking her time. In magazine interviews, she talked about not needing to hurry down the aisle. So for years, it sounded like she was the one hitting the brakes on making it official. David, on the other hand, has been engaged to her for a decade, standing by her, living with her, raising their son, being part of the home. So it makes you wonder if she never intended to marry him. Should he have walked away sooner? Like after 2 years, 3, 5. At what point do you say, we've been engaged for almost a decade, this isn't going anywhere? And on the flip side, if she wasn't ready to marry him, should she have ended the engagement instead of letting it drag on for 10 years? Because let's be real, staying engaged for 10 years, living together, raising a child, but never actually taking that step. Usually that means something deeper was wrong. There was something in that relationship that kept them from fully committing on paper. Fast forward to now. Jennifer is saying he's too unstable and too aggressive to be a full partner in parenting. She's not asking the court to co-parent. She's asking for sole custody. That's a big move. So is she doing all this because she truly believes he's dangerous? Or is she getting ahead of him in court, throwing the first punch legally so that the judge sees her as the victim and him as the threat? That's a question a lot of people are asking. On David's side, he's saying absolutely none of this is true. He's denying everything. According to him, he has never physically, mentally, or verbally abused her. He's always been there for her, and especially for their son. When Jennifer was out working, filming movies, doing shows, performing, doing TV, David was at home taking care of their boy, playing the role of a stay-at-home dad now. If he really is this unstable, aggressive, dangerous man she's describing, then why was she comfortable leaving their child alone with him for years while she traveled and worked? If she truly felt intimidated, scared, and unsafe, that raises another serious question. Does that mean she willingly left her son with someone she believed was dangerous? Because that would also say something about her judgment as a parent, unless, of course, she felt the child was protected because she also had nannies, maids, assistants, and staff in the house. Maybe she believed that with other adults around, housekeepers, babysitters, whoever, their son would be safe. Even if she personally felt uncomfortable around David, that's one way she might try to explain it at the end of the day. From the outside, a lot of this looks like he said, she said. Once a relationship breaks up and lawyers get involved, both sides start slinging mud. That's just how messy separations go, especially when there's money, fame, And a child in the middle, Jennifer claims this one physical altercation where he supposedly grabbed their son by the hand and pushed her out of the master bedroom was witnessed by multiple people, their son, a makeup artist, and an assistant. So now there are potential witnesses who could go on record to support her version. Those statements, if consistent and credible, could seriously support her claims in court. We'll have to see what comes out of the legal documents and testimony. Then there's the gun situation. Jennifer says David left a gun and holster on the kitchen counter. He allegedly told her it was a movie prop. But Jennifer says he knows very well that she is extremely sensitive about guns because of what happened to her family, her mother. Her brother and her nephew were all killed by someone with a firearm. So to her, seeing a gun casually left out like that felt like deliberate taunting and intimidation. She believes he put it there on purpose to scare her. Now, do we know his intention for sure? No, only he and she really know. Some people might say it was incredibly insensitive, even if it was just a prop. Others might say it was a calculated move to rattle her. Either way, she felt threatened by it, and she put that in her legal paperwork. Jennifer also says that although she and David actually broke up months ago, neither of them could agree on custody. Both wanted primary custody of their son. The court then issued an order of protection that gave Jennifer exclusive possession of their home and ordered David to stay away from her and their child, at least temporarily. She's also asking for the legal authority to make major decisions for their son on her own. From a legal perspective, this is a strong move. Once someone is out of the home and barred from returning, it's hard to get that position back. The person who remains in the house, especially when the child is living there, usually has the upper hand when courts consider stability, environment, and routine for the child now. We also have to remember Jennifer's past and how that might shape her reactions. Her brother, mother, and nephew were murdered in 2008 by her sister's estranged husband, William Balfour. In 2012, he was convicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder. That's deep trauma. That's not just a little argument or some bad breakup. That's life-changing. That kind of loss never really goes away. So from one angle, makes sense that Jennifer would take any hint of domestic violence or danger extremely seriously. She's lived through the absolute worst-case scenario already. She knows what a violent partner in the family can do. She knows what happens when red flags are ignored. On the other hand, if, and this is a big if, any of these allegations are exaggerated or not true, then that would be incredibly damaging. Not just to David, but especially to their son. Because if this child grows up knowing that his mother accused his father of being abusive, unstable, and unfit, and he personally remembers his dad as a present, loving, and consistent parent, that can create a lot of confusion and resentment later on. Think about it. David really was a caring and involved father all these years, and the son remembers his dad as kind and protective. But then suddenly he disappears from his life because of accusations that aren't true. That could deeply wound the child emotionally. Those memories and that court battle will always be part of his story. We also have to look back at how everything unfolded for Jennifer and David after he proposed. According to the timeline, right after he got engaged to her, her mother, brother, and nephew were murdered. That alone could explain why she never rushed into planning a wedding. Imagine being newly engaged, and then your family is massacred. Suddenly, the idea of walking down the aisle without your mom there, without your brother, without your nephew changes everything. The excitement around wedding planning disappears. You're grieving, dealing with trauma, dealing with public scrutiny. People online are criticizing you, asking why you didn't move your family out of the neighborhood, blaming you for things that weren't your fault. That's a heavy burden. So maybe after all that pain, she wasn't emotionally able to move forward with marriage. She might have been battling grief, depression, PTSD, guilt, and endless what-ifs. She could have been asking herself, could I have done more? Could I have moved them out sooner? Could I have protected them? Even if she did nothing wrong. Those thoughts haunt people who survive that kind of tragedy. Her view of love, family, trust, safety, all of that could have shifted. The only person she may have been fully capable of loving without fear after that was her son. because he became her core family, her anchor. So now if she thinks she might lose time with him, or if the court might grant David more access or primary custody, that could trigger a lot of fear in her. And from that fear, it's possible she's overreacting or taking extreme legal steps to make sure she doesn't lose her son. 2. Some people are also saying she doesn't want to be in a position where she's paying alimony or child support, especially with her level of fame and success. They believe these accusations might be a strategy to ensure she gets full control of the child and keeps as much financial and legal power as possible. If that's true, then this becomes extremely dark, because using accusations of abuse as a legal tactic when they're not true does real damage to victims everywhere and to her own child's relationship with his dad. Now let's talk about David for a second. He's not just some random guy off the street. People know him as Punk from I Love New York. He was a pro wrestler with WWE. He's done commentary work. And he graduated from Harvard Law School. He's an actual lawyer. So we're not talking about someone who has no career options or no ability to earn. He can work, make decent money, and support himself. From what's been seen publicly, he seems like the type of man who values family, who stuck by Jennifer for years, who embraced being a father and a partner. He hung in there for a decade of engagement. That alone says he was committed, or at least invested for a long time. There's also another layer: cheating allegations. Jennifer has reportedly suggested that David believed she was being unfaithful. Allegedly, there was a situation where she was at a recording studio and David couldn't reach her. He supposedly asked their son to record her because he thought she might be messing around with a producer. She denies cheating. But that incident shows there was already a lack of trust, suspicion, and jealousy in the relationship in one reported incident. She says when they got home afterward, David was visibly angry, grabbed their son's hand, and physically pushed her out of the master bedroom again. Something she says her son, a makeup artist, and an assistant witness. So was Jennifer emotionally checked out and already moving on with someone else? Was he feeling insecure and reacting badly? Was he being controlling? Was there infidelity on either side? We don't know all of that yet. What we can say is that for 10 years, they lived together, built a life, raised a child, but never made it down the aisle. Based on her own interviews, it sounds like she was often the one saying, "Not yet, I'm not ready." Later, after years went by and after all the trauma, maybe he started to feel like, okay, maybe this isn't going to happen. Maybe this isn't going where I thought it was. In the middle of all that, they now have this custody war, these abuse allegations, this protective order, and a child stuck in between. If Jennifer is telling the truth, and David really is aggressive, intimidating, and unsafe, then she's doing what she feels she has to do to protect herself and her son, especially given her history with family violence. But if any of this is exaggerated or fabricated just to win custody or avoid paying support, then that's not only wrong, it's going to leave scars on their child that might never fully heal at the end of the day. We're watching a very painful, very public breakup where only the people inside the relationship know exactly what went on. The rest of us just see the filings, the headlines, and bits of their story. So what do you all think? Is Jennifer genuinely afraid and protecting her peace and her child? Or is she trying to get ahead of the narrative, throw the first punch in court, and secure everything for herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me how you see the situation. And as always, peace, love, and respect to all my people, to all